Welcome, fellow Kiss fans. Welcome to It's All For You Demon, celebrating the fun of being a Kiss fan. And tonight, we come to you live from the It's All For You Demon basement. For it is a summer night, and there is no more fun in the world than enjoying the 1978 made-for-television movie Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park. Tonight, all things fun, Phantom of the Park. This movie means absolutely the world to me. This movie is my number one favorite movie of all time. And no, that sounds silly. It's not a real movie as in like a fully produced, released in theaters movie, minus Attack of the Phantoms released in the theaters overseas. But this movie is everything to me. I was introduced to the band Kiss by this film. This movie represents everything we love about the band Kiss. First off, you have the songs Shout It Out Loud, I Stole Your Love, Rock and Roll All Night, Beth, a version of Hotter Than Hell. You've got a killer soundtrack. Second, you've got the comic book superhero aspect of the band, live and in person. Thirdly, you have the cheesy 70s fun of a Wonder Woman, Spider-Man, Hanna-Barbera type action thriller. It's cheesy, but man, is it fun. And ever since that very first night when I was introduced to Kiss by this VHS tape, my friends and I have studied this tape back and forth. Would I consider my friends and myself to be experts on this film? Yes, I would. But tonight, I'm not going to dive into trivia that already exists out there. I am simply going to highlight everything I consider fun of Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park. So grab your video home system cassette, grab your popping corn, grab an ice cold beer, and let's celebrate all things fun. Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park.
Come ahead, Kiss. I may be outnumbered, but I am not outmanned.
First things first, how fun is the logo of the home video cassette? And right after that, how fun is the spinning Rock and Roll Over album? And of course, being a huge amusement park nerd, I love the intro of this film where the band is playing Rock and Roll All Night as the opening credits roll, and pictures, video of actual amusement park rides from Magic Mountain are behind the band members. Those rides in Magic Mountain can be found at pretty much any amusement park, and here in Kansas City at Worlds of Fun we see the Bamboozler, we see Cyclone Sam, we see the Octopus, and we see, of course, the wooden roller coaster. And the two wooden roller coasters we have here in town are the Prowler and the Timberwolf. You show us everything you've got. Baby, that's quite a lot. And you drive us wild, we'll drive you crazy. Now, the rock and roll over shirt the girl is wearing that looks up and kind of shuffles her stuff to Gene singing above the Colossus is a rock and roll over shirt that was actually available in the rock and roll over merch ad. As seen here. The roller coaster Sam and Melissa are riding at the beginning of the film when they share that passionate kiss is the Revolution from Magic Mountain in Valencia, California. Another ride at Cedar Point that really reminds me of the Revolution is the Corkscrew. And so, if you're ever at Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio, ride the Corkscrew. And although it doesn't have a tunnel, kiss the person next to you and relive a little Kiss meets the Phantom of the Park. There's something going on here. Sam? Now, the main wooden roller coaster that is seen in the intro of the movie and in many of the pivotal action scenes of the movie is the Colossus from Magic Mountain, California. The Colossus was not an operating roller coaster at the time of filming. Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park was filmed in May of 1978, and the Colossus didn't open until June that year. However, it can be seen in another movie a few years later. What was that movie?
Rusty? May I call you Rusty? I had a bad experience on this ride once before.
What happened?
I threw up.
Early in the film, we hear an overhead announcement that Kiss will be performing for 3 great nights. We know that one of these nights, or days, is a matinee show, as later in the film, Calvin Richards mentions they have a show tonight and a matinee tomorrow. Has Kiss ever really played a matinee?
Kiss is in concert starting tonight for 3 great nights. Remember, Kiss tonight. Kiss.
Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park was released on NBC TV October 28, 1978. The Kiss solo albums were released 1 month and 10 days prior. I have always loved this ad on the bottom of the second series Kiss cards. It's an ad for the Phantom of the Park book, but if you look closely, it says, watch NBC TV, October 28th. I can't even imagine the fun and excitement a kid collecting these cards would have looking forward to that night. Seeing their superhero rock stars on TV in a made-for-TV movie. Man, that is fun. How much fun is this little kid's horn? Now, the marching band at the beginning of the film is the Canyon High School Marching Band from Santa Clarita, California. Now, one of my bucket list goals, items to find, is a 1978 Canyon High School yearbook. The kids in that yearbook have to be the kids on this film. I think one aspect of this movie that I've always loved the most is the plot that Abner and his major breakthrough, as he describes to Calvin, of his revolutionary human-like creatures are actually humans that Abner kidnaps.
Maybe so, but every time I see Abner, he's got somebody new working for him.
Jeez, for a minute I thought we had another disappearance on our hands.
Now, originally, the band was to write new material for this movie, however, did not have enough time. So a cartoon-esque soundtrack was added to the movie in post-production, and per Kiss management and Hanna-Barbera, that cartoon music was added to target a young demographic. And this is just a personal fun aspect when Chopper is beating up Simon the ape. I've always wanted to believe that Devereaux uses Simon to build his gene. Could be the chains, could be the grunting, but I've always wanted to believe that.
Hey, look, these slimes! Here's where Chopper shows it all.
Jeez, Deez, I think the hairy dude's got eyes for your old man.
Knock it off. Just remember who you come with, Chopper.
Mighty Joe Young is where we get down.
And if you look closely, Chopper's jacket can also be seen in the 1979 movie, The Warriors. Devereaux's laboratory was an attraction at Magic Mountain called the Magic Pagoda. The Magic Pagoda was torn down in 1984. However, the Sky Tower that Devereaux's laboratory is under
Way underground.
still exists at Magic Mountain and is still in operation today. When Melissa is at the snack bar waiting for Sam getting hit on by that table of boys, you can see she is ordering a Coke product, which is still true to this day. Magic Mountain, Coke products. Oh, but you ain't getting no Coke! The majority of the shirts that are being sold at the merchandise booths are the Alive 2 shirts from the Alive 2 insert.
Don't forget the big Kiss concert tonight at the outdoor arena. What kind of prize would you like to have? Hats, belt buckles, hats. And what would you like to see? Radio. That's $10, sir.
Not quite the same color, but as seen here. You have to absolutely love how many times this guy looks at the camera.
Don't forget the big Kiss concert tonight at the outdoor arena. What kind of prize would you like to have? Hats, belt buckles, hats. A hat for you, young. What would you like to see? A radio. That's $10, sir.
Sorry.
Somebody else. What are you looking for here? Wrong size? Okay, take that back. Here, lady, have a little bit of this. How about a poster, young lady?
Bring that man to an expo. Bring that man to an expo. The announcer announcing the Kiss makeup contest is the same radio DJ seen in the radio clip from Land of Hype and Glory.
Guys and gals, let's hear it once again for contestant number 7. And let's hope it's lucky numero 7, Lisa Ashton. Beautiful job, Lisa. Beautiful. And if I must say so myself, you look perfect.
You can admit it. You sing this song.
What has she got that the others have not? It must be that look in her eyes. And fancy little girl who puts a flowers to shame. She really beats them at their own game. When she walks by, how the fellas all sigh. All they can say is, oh me and oh my.
Whom amongst us doesn't love to say this line?
You're not allowed to smoke in here. I'll smoke you.
The music that's being played as Kiss makes their superhero entrance is the guitar solo from Shock Me. And Paul's neck collar breaks. Elvis Presley? Two of the best lines ever, back to back.
It was him. Or his twin.
This group can't perform tonight if this guy Gene's in jail, and they got a show tonight and a matinee tomorrow.
And they're mine.
Another thing my friend Dan and I do is answer conversations exactly the way Calvin just did. And they're mine. One of the coolest faces ever made by the Demon. And one of the absolutely coolest shots of the entire film.
Apes is more like it.
If I could ever only own one prop from a movie, it would be this.
All unreal.
Devereaux.
When cell phones first came out and we all had those cheap Nokia phones, this was my ringtone, strictly because it was used in Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park.
So that's the way it's to be, is it? Then let the dance begin.
To this day, my friend Dan says this while we're waiting for Kiss to come on stage every time we see him live.
Kiss, where are you?
Now the mansion that Sam breaks into and ransacks can also be seen in an episode of Columbo from 1975 called Identity Crisis. Now, the Talisman, they were first mentioned on the pages of the 1977 Marvel comic.
Unreal. I'd heard about your talisman, but I didn't think they really existed. What's that humming noise?
It's a cosmic force field which protects our talisman.
Pretty mystical.
Another thing I love about this movie are the white ape androids. And the first time we see one is right here.
This doesn't make any sense.
Just to show you how much this movie is in our DNA, to this day, as 40-something-year-old men, if anything weird ever happens, my friend Dan and I still say, let's get some coffee.
Weird. Let's go get some coffee.
Now, the effects of Paul shooting a laser out of his star eye was actually an effect that was put into production for test for the 1979 Dynasty Tour. Now, you know, somewhere, there is test footage of them trying this out. There has to be. Gosh. To see that one day, that's the stuff dreams are made of. Now, this is just a personal hunch, but the cat that can be seen when Dirty D is walking around the old man's Chamber of Thrills looking for Chopper and Slime.
Slime? You fooling around, Slime? Enough's enough.
Is that the cat that Peter used on his drum riser during the 1976 Rock and Roll Over tour? And that is also the reason that this little guy I found in a tub of Halloween decorations stays on my stereo permanently. How gloriously fun is the 1970s disco Chips-esque Wonder Woman soundtrack of this movie. It's so much fun. Flip me off. You've got to hand it to Melissa. She was pre-Mel Gibson Ransom.
Give it back to me!
Who cannot love the two different versions of how Paul Stanley saves the day?
It's no use, young lady. And the Devereaux can't hear you. this young lady. Adna Devereaux can't hear you.
Personally, I love the laser eye shooting, and I love to imagine that Sam had third-degree burns on his neck from Paul doing that, and probably sued the band Kiss, causing their demise, eventually leading to Bill Aucoin being fired from the band, all due to Sam winning a multi-million-dollar lawsuit from Paul Stanley's reckless behavior. I love the ending credits of Phantom of the Park, containing that glorious God of Thunder from Kiss, Alive 2. And lastly, the greatest ending line of any movie.
He created Kiss to destroy Kiss, and he lost.
Thank you for hanging with me. Thank you for enjoying this trip down memory lane of all things fun. Kiss meets the Phantom of the Park. Take care. Be safe. Never stop having fun. Never stop watching this film. And I will talk to you soon.
What exactly did he say?
He didn't say anything.
So what did you think of the movie? No, I mean Peter's voice. I mean it's weird. It's not his voice. It sounds like Barney Rubble. I get it. And I mean the effects are cheesy. But I mean you got to take it with a grain of salt.